Hi there, welcome to Two Birds and welcome back if you've practiced with me before. Today's class is the first of a series of 4 classes designed to improve your core strength and awareness. And nearly all the movements that we do either originate or pass through our core, and so it's so important not only for maintaining healthy posture but also our breathing, our digestion and efficient movement through our body. So in this series of classes, we'll be working the full circumference of your core, including your hips, abdominal core, back and pelvic girdle. And we'll work through the importance of these muscles and work toward building a really strong, flexible core. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for joining. Namaste. And begin your practice laying down on your back, bending your knees, taking your feet wide to the edges of your mat, and let your knees knock in toward one another. And once you arrive, spread and smooth the architecture of your back so your spine feels straight, maintaining the natural curve of your spine. So just making sure your neck and your lower back are not flattened. Now, just allow the front of your thigh bones to relax and sink into the hip sockets. So you're just inviting your hip flexors to soften there. And placing your right hand over your belly now and your left hand over the center of your chest. Gently closing your eyes. And we'll take the next few minutes to establish a pattern to our breathing to support our core and bring awareness to our breath. Breathing in and out through the nostrils. And feel free to implement an ujjayi breath if you're familiar with it, and particularly if you're in a colder climate there. Breathing with sound. Gently contracting the muscles through the back wall of your throat and just siphoning the air in and out. So you create an audible, warming breath. If you'd like to experiment with a quieter breath, try breathing your same deep breath silently. It's a little bit more challenging, particularly if you've always practiced ujjayi. And I tend to find it's more of a meditative, internal and concentrated experience. Up to you. And now, very simply, as you breathe in, feel your belly and then your ribs and then your chest expand underneath your hands. And as you breathe out, draw the lowest part of your belly in and up and press all the air out of your lungs until you're fully empty. Taking a few more rounds like this. And just note that your ability to breathe well during your practice really comes from the completeness of your exhale. When you really fully empty your lungs, not only will your deep abdominal core switch on, but your corresponding inhale becomes automatically deeper. The next stage of this breathing cycle will be a little bit more specific. Picture the hammock of muscles from the front to the back of the pelvis and the ones between your sitting bones. And as you exhale now, get the feeling you're drawing this hammock of muscles together like elevator doors closing. And then lift the elevator, if that makes any sense. Maintaining this gentle contraction initiated by your exhale now throughout your subsequent inhales. So you're just moving toward a ribcage, diaphragmatic breath. So rather than let your belly expand as you breathe in, maintain this light Abdominal engagement, and breathe toward your ribs and your chest. As you exhale, feel and activate the lower abdominals. So as you breathe in this way, it's really a blueprint for the relationship between your breath, your pelvic floor and deep abdominals. So each breath, a constant reminder of these actions. You're contracting and securing your abdominal core and pressurizing your diaphragm to aerate your lungs laterally. So you're creating stability and support as you breathe. And aim to stay with this breathing pattern now and core awareness as we begin to move. And gently blinking the eyes open, walking your feet in toward one another, and go ahead, hug your knees in toward your chest, give yourself a little rock side to side. Massage your low back into the mat. And from here, we're going to release the hands and interlace your fingers behind the back of your head. Keep your head resting on the floor and shift your knees forward to balance over your hips. Maintain your neutral spine. Now keep the big toes touching and splay the knees out wide. And on your exhale, tap the right toes to the floor. Inhale back up. Exhale, left toes to the floor. Inhale back to center. So just keep alternating here. Try and incorporate your breath and core awareness now as you move. And keeping the low back arch to a minimum. And if you'd like to add on here, you can lift your head and your shoulders to a hover. Each time you exhale, closing your lower ribs toward your hips, and maintain your lower back's natural curve. Just a few more here. Last one, each side. And release, rest your head back, gather your knees in toward your chest. And now take your arms alongside your body, keep your head resting back, and on an exhale, see if you can lightly hop the hips up, and on an inhale, reach your legs away to about 45 degrees, arms come out wide. And then continue on, hug the knees in, little hop to the hips, legs away, arms away. And keeping that rib to hip engagement, low back arch to a minimum as you reach away. And if you find the apex of your low back curve starts to exaggerate, kick the legs a little higher and keep your head resting. And if you'd like to add on here, raise your head and your shoulders, legs away, arms overhead. Legs a little lower to add a challenge. You should be able to feel that now in your lower abdominals. We'll take 2 more cycles. And rest. Knees in, rest your head back, and just relax through the neck. And from here, we're going to return to our floating tabletop with the legs now. Take the knees wide as we did before, and lift up through the head and shoulders. Thread your arms through the inside of your legs and cup your heels with your hands. We're going to take 3 rock and rolls, rolling up to balance on the soft part of our buttocks. So inhale here to send the legs out overhead. Exhale to roll up and balance and hover. Twice more, rolling back and up. And when you're ready, as you roll up, we're going to arrive in a half boat pose, Ardha Navasana, bringing the knees together, arms alongside your calves. And if you feel like you've gone soggy through your chest and spine, you can catch your hands behind the back of your knees. Just realign and upright your posture. We're here for 2 more cycles of breath. From here, we're going to hold the legs where they are now and make a fist with your hands, interlacing your fingers at your heart center. And on an exhale, sweep your hands over to the right toward the floor and then up and over to your left. And just keep going. Try and get nice and close to the floor with your fists. And if you need more support here, you can take your feet to the floor so you can maintain the postural integrity of your spine and make room for your breath. And we're working our side abdominals now, which help to stabilize your pelvis as your torso twists. I'm going to take 2 more each side. And release. Stamp your feet down, hug your knees in close, lifting tall through your spine. And we're going to make our way onto hands and knees now. And setting the wrists up underneath the shoulders. Knees underneath your hips, neutral spine. Now go ahead, center your left knee and extend your right leg out behind you, balancing your hip points and engaging your abdominal core. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, curl your right knee in toward your nose, dome your spine. Inhale, extend. Exhale, place the right knee down next to your left and we switch sides. Left leg lifts, breathing in. Exhale, curl in, round the spine. Inhale, extend, hip points level. Exhale, come down onto all fours. Continue on, just alternating sides, flowing slow, conscious of your breathing pattern, firm belly, and your breaths moving into your ribs and your chest. If you're still working on your core strength, stay with this sequence and maybe add on your opposite arm to your leg. If you'd like to challenge yourself here, stepping out to a plank pose. As you inhale, raise your right leg, toes flexed. Exhale, core lunge. Inhale, 3-point plank, right leg hovering. Exhale, low push-up to a hover. High push-up. And then set the right foot down, switch sides. Left leg lifts. Core lunge, 3-point plank, take a push-up, high push-up, and set the left foot down. We'll go 1 more each side wherever you're at, moving slow, swallow your belly in and up. And when you're ready, resting knees to the floor. And then taking your forearms to the floor, stepping your feet back, and we'll make our way into a forearm plank. Last few breaths here. You can interlace your fingers or have your hands shoulder width apart. Knees can prop down on the floor for a little bit of extra support, or 2 straight legs, pushing into the forearms, inner forearms to spread through your upper back. Stay firm around your center and spread the effort. So your legs are engaged, your shoulders are strong. You've got this. There's a rest coming up. And knees to the floor, melt down onto your belly. We're going to set up for Sphinx pose. So bring the elbows a little forward off your shoulders, roll your weight toward the big toes. So your inner thighs spiral in. And aiming to release now along the front of your body. Send your ribs forward through your arms. Lift your heart, let the shoulder blades slide down your back. And try and create a little bit of air between your belly and the mat. Legs engaged. Taking 3 more deep breaths in and out. And release. Taking your hands by your ribs now, Glide up onto all fours and press back into your version of a child's pose, Balasana, buttocks to your heels. Resting your effort now. Just feel and notice your breath wrap around your low back, decompressing. And just taking the next few breaths to transition into your first downward facing dog. And letting the whole back of your body breathe here. Any movement that feels good in your body, perhaps spiking the legs, swaying the hips. And taking 2 more cycles of breath. Bending the knees now, looking forward, and travel to the top edge of your mat. We'll come into an easy forward fold, catching your hands to opposite elbows, light bend in the knees so your torso can sit comfortably on your thighs, so you're not pulling on your low back. And then release the crown of your head toward the floor at the end of your spine. And then just let your arms dangle, hang in ragdoll. And take your time, take a slow roll up to stand, stacking all the vertebrae of your spine as you rise up. Arms sweep out and overhead. And press your palms, lower your hands to your heart center. Pause in your even standing posture. I'm going to move through a few rounds of sun salutes now, whole body movement, warming up. Breathing in, raise your arms overhead, gaze up. Exhale, bend the knees and forward fold, little bend there, so you're not pulling on your back. Breathing in, lift up halfway, hands to your shins. Exhale, fingertips down, stepping your right leg back to low lunge. Right knee softly down. Reach the arms when you're ready, here for a few breaths. And then invite your breath in toward the back of your ribs, staying tall through your low back. Hugging your outer hips in toward the midline. And feel a light lift to your pelvic floor, front ribs knitting in toward one another, activating your entire core here. Take 1 more deep breath in. Exhale, hands to the floor, stepping quietly back, downward facing dog. On your in-breath, float forward to a high push-up, pause, broad and strong through your shoulders. On your exhale, return to your downward facing dog, hips up and back. Center your left foot, raise your right leg up and back, breathing in. Hips level, and on your exhale, step your right foot forward to your hands, come into a runner's lunge. Fingertips stay down, left thigh strong and straight. Breathing in, lengthen your chest forward. And then on your exhale, stepping forward, top edge of your mat. Take a deep breath in, lifting up halfway. Exhale and forward fold. Breathe in, rise tall to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Left side now, same sequence, moving slow, arms overhead. And breathing out, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, left foot steps back now, low lunge, left knee softly down. When you're steady, reach the arms. Stay for a few breaths. You're really pushing down through the heel of your right foot and engaging lightly through the base of your left glutes. So you feel really contained through your lower body. Reach up a little taller, stretch the fingers up, breathe in. Exhale, hands to the floor, stepping back, downward facing dog. On your in-breath, float forward, plank pose. On your out-breath, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Center your right foot now, left leg up and back, breathe in. Exhale, stepping up, runner's lunge. Just make sure your left knee lands right over the ankle there. Creep it along and forward if you need to. Take a full cycle of breath, breathing your chest forward. And on your exhale, stepping forward. Inhale, find length. Exhale and fold in. Rise tall, come to stand. Hands to your heart center. Next breath in, coming into chair pose, Utkatasana, motion the hips back, sit low, reach the arms. Stay for your exhale. Nice firm belly, tall back. One more deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, stepping back to your strong plank and pause here. Breathe in. Exhale, lower to your belly. Feel free to modify there with your knees down. And coming into cobra pose. On your inhale, keep it low, keep it slow. Exhale, returning to your downward facing dog. And we'll take 5 to 8 smooth cycles of breath here. Directing your breath wide into your ribs. And feel the hollow lift and engagement around your center. At the end of your exhale, make sure to completely empty your lungs every exhale. Breathing in, looking forward. Light bend in the knees, end of your exhale, walk or float to the top edge of your mat. Breathe in, find length, heart forward. Exhale and fold. Come to stand, straight legs, reach tall. Spot your thumbs overhead. This time exhale, hands to your hips. Take an extra cycle of breath. And we're going to make our way into a balance posture now, transferring your weight into your right foot. And raise the left knee in toward your chest. And try and switch on your outer right hip on, so the glutes here to stabilize and find center. Then when you're ready, transitioning into your version of a tree pose. Left knee out to the side, placing your left foot anywhere on the inseam of your right leg there. So it could be above or below your knee. And we're just here to pause. Find a solid, steady gaze point. And in asymmetrical postures like tree pose, the one here, the integrity in this shape is really dependent on having a strong core to help support the natural curvature of your spine, and your upright posture really is the center of your stability, and it surrounds your center of gravity. So maintaining this firm engagement around your center, explore now releasing your left leg to a hover and stepping back into a high lunge. Fingertips can come to the floor if you need extra support there. And staggering your feet hips width apart. Take a long stride, rising tall, arms reach. And when you arrive, just optimize your posture so you're feeling for neutral through your pelvic bowl. So if you can lift the front of your hip points up, lengthen your tailbone down, maybe with a little micro bend in your left leg, Now keep all those actions around your center and press your palms. Lower your hands to your heart center. And on your exhale, transition into reverse prayer twist. So left elbow to the outer right knee, or modify here with your hand to the floor, left hand to the floor, right hand to the sky. So when you land in your version of the twist, fully engage and lift the front of your left thigh. So you're working your glutes here, your upper hamstrings, your inner thighs and obliques. And they're all working to stabilize your pelvis, maximize your core activation. Here for 2 more breaths. Exhale, hands to the floor, frame your front foot. We're coming into warrior 2, so drop your left heel. Keep your long stride and engage through your left leg. Find your upright posture. So stretching from your groins toward your knees, so you've got a nice open quality through the hips, the inner thighs. And just pause here and make contact with your breath. Next breath in, keep the legs where they are. Inhale, reverse your warrior, reach up and back. And on an exhale, take your fingertips to the floor, pop up onto your left toes now. And then walk your fingertips off the front edge of your mat. So you're going to keep a bend in your right knee, hold steady, and take your left knee and tap it to the back of your right calf, and then just step and tap back. Abs engaged. Keep going now. Pick up the pace if it feels good. Left leg's moving with a snappier breath rhythm, and your right leg remains stable. Your outer right hip hugging in. And you should be able to feel a little heat building in your right thigh and glutes there. Just a few more. There's a rest coming up, everyone. Stay with it. Last 2. And then step your left foot back to set up for pyramid pose now. Setting your feet about 3 foot apart, not quite as long as a warrior. 2 straight legs. Inhale. Come up halfway, run your hands up your leg, and with this space, activate the outer hips, your legs and abdominals here, and then fold forward. Exploring any subtle adjustments in your own body to keep your hips facing forward, keeping the legs strong, thighs engaged. So you're really trying to avoid overtaxing the ligaments through the back of your knees here. On an inhale, lift up halfway, hands can run up your legs. Exhale, step the left foot back a little further. We'll just transition through a Vinyasa now, stepping back to a strong plank. Exhale, low push-up, chaturanga. Breathing in, back bend of your choice, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And now just really spread out through your hands, your fingers, and push the mat forward and down. At the same time, lift the hips, float them a little higher. And lengthen all the way down the back of your legs to your heels. Taking 2 more smooth breaths. Breathing in, looking forward. End of your exhale, travel to the top edge of your mat. Open halfway, breathe in. Exhale and fold. Rise up, reach up. Exhale, hands to hips here. And second side now. Balancing on your left foot now. Making your way into a Vriksasana, tree pose. And if you do feel like your balance is a little unsteady today, just keep a lower center of gravity, tap your right toes to the floor. Finding your upright posture, using your center of gravity as a point of mental focus, so aligning and engaging all the musculature around the point just below your navel. Now just thinking about initiating your transition from the center of your body as you move. Transition into a high lunge. Right foot steps back. And take a moment to arrive. And then reach the arms, and you might find that a deeper bend in your right knee gets you more upright and balanced. Also familiar with that feeling of hip and pelvic neutrality. And if you are a little bit more mobile through the hips, perhaps you can dip the hips a little lower and straighten the back leg without losing spinal integrity. You really want to try and maintain the feeling of a natural trough in your low back, but also have that strong connection between your legs and your torso supported by your core. Take a deep breath in, press the palms, exhale, hands to your heart center, and then twisting to your left now. So right thigh firming. Or take an open twist, right hand can come to the floor, left to the ceiling. Let your breath support you here. Every exhale, your abdominal hammock firming. Every inhale, breathing toward your ribs, into the full circumference of your lungs. One more deep breath in. Exhale, hands to the floor, transitioning now into Warrior Two. Ground your right heel. Inhale, rise up. And then just stay for a few breaths. Maybe sinking a little deeper into the hips. Your right thigh staying strongly engaged. And keep the legs where they are. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Reach up and back, should feel nice. And then wimble the fingertips to the floor. And creep them off the front edge of your mat. And then left knee stays bent here. Right knee taps to the back of your left calf. Challenging your thigh here. And if you want to challenge more, just drop the buttocks down a little lower. Keep breathing. So good for the stabilizing muscles around your hips. Last few. And there's a rest, stepping back and coming into your pyramid pose. Anchor your right heel, lifting up halfway, run your hands up your leg. Exhale and fold in over the midline of your left leg now. And try and lift the inner groin of your left leg deep into your pelvis, leveling your hips. And letting your head relax at the end of your spine. And just re-lengthening the muscles you've just worked, and we're balancing out. Taking a rest. 3 more cycles of breath. And when you're ready, re-bending your left knee, stepping back through a Vinyasa or straight to downward facing dog if you need to do less. We'll all meet up there. And from here, center your left foot, raise your right leg up and back, down dog splits. Nice and slow now. Exhale, step your right foot forward and we'll return to warrior two to transition. Rising up on your inhale. And just stay for your exhale there. Steady in the feet. Next breath in, straighten your right leg. And from here it's easier, and perhaps you'd like to shorten your stance, you can just walk the left foot in a little, preparing for triangle pose. Reach out and over the midline of your right leg, resting your right hand to your shin. And reach your left arm up toward the ceiling. So you're stacking your shoulders here, left shoulder over the right. Here for a few breaths. Zooming your awareness into the center of your body. So notice now, as you firmly engage your abdominal core, there's more opportunity to feel steady and instigate an expansion of your arms from the center rather than from just your hands. Now just notice if you can soften the left side ribcage down, so you lengthen out through the right side of your waist, elongating your spine. Such a great back and core strengthener. Last few breaths here. If you'd like to add on, let your core and legs support you. Reach your right arm forward, arms into an L shape. 2 more breaths. And release, little bend in your right knee, hands to your mat, and walk a quarter turn to your left, coming into Prasarita, Padottanasana, spread leg forward fold. Hands under the shoulders, lifting up halfway, breathe in. Exhale and fold here between your wide legs. Just feeling for an even balance through the soles of your feet here. An inward spiral of your inner upper thighs to release, decompress through the spine. Breathe and lift up halfway onto the fingertips. Exhale, look to the top of your mat and make your way around there and walk back through a Vinyasa or step quietly back, downward facing dog. Keep moving with your breath, slow and steady. Left side now, so center your right foot, left leg rising on your inhale. Exhale, stepping up, warrior two. Keep your firm belly here, flowing here, coming all the way up, staying for your exhale. Breathing in, straighten and firm your legs. Maybe shortening your stance, and then exhale, triangle. Trikonasana, hinging from your hips rather than your waist here, so you create parallel lines from your hips to your armpits. There's no rainbow shape underneath the undercarriage of your torso. Firming your belly, your legs. An option to add on here, firm your core, really feel it brace, then explore reaching your left arm forward. And again, get that feeling that the extension of your body is originating from your core, giving everything stretch and length, supporting yourself with a deliberate breath. And release, hands down. Bend your left knee, eyes down, and walk a quarter turn around to your right now. Turning the heels out, big toes angle in. Halfway lift, breathe in, 2 straight legs. Exhale and fold in. 5 smooth breaths. Breathing in, lifting up, flat back. Exhale, walk around to face the front of your mat, stepping back to plank pose. We're going to pause here. Bring your torso parallel with the mat. And consciously maintaining the natural curves of your spine. From here, lift your right foot 1 inch and hover it above the mat. Here for 5 full breaths. So really try to avoid sagging through the low back. Left knee can come to the floor if you need a little extra support. And release here, straight over to the other side, over to the left. Hover and hold. And here the gravity is working against your resistance, so your pelvic floor needs to lift to maintain the length of your spine. And it also prompts the pelvic floor and abs on the left side now to activate. One more breath. And release, knees to the floor. Softly lower yourself all the way down onto your belly. And extend your arms forward like Superman arms. Stretch your legs back behind you and take your feet about hips width apart. Now actively swallow your belly in and up as if you're trying to create some air underneath your navel, and raise your right arm and your left leg. As you exhale, switch and swim. So just stay with this sequence, opposite arm, opposite leg, keeping your gaze down so the back of your neck is quite neutral there. And just staying in touch with an appropriate level of exertion. So you're aiming here to simply release and re-lengthen the front of your body and gently tone the muscles either side of your spine. Last one, each side. Releasing down. Make a starfish with your legs now. Take them even wider and take your hands toward one another ahead of you. Raise the legs, raise the arms, breathe in. As you exhale, cactus your arms and pull the legs together. On your inhale, reach the arms forward, legs out wide. Exhale, cactus the arms, legs together. So we'll do 3 more just like that. So move the arms nice and slow so you can feel the upper back muscles working here, inner thighs. And rest. When you're ready, hands by your ribs, pressing back into a wide leg version of child's pose. Knees wide, buttocks to heels. And release and soften your torso between your thighs. Let your breath smooth out and slow down, letting go of your effort. Well done. And we're going to finish practice here with a twist, and you may wish to stay in this shape and just thread your right arm underneath your left and come down to rest on your right cheek, right shoulder, or find a version of a twist that suits you. So you might like to sit upright and twist. You can recline. Just anything that's going to offer a release for your spine. And give yourself 5 full cycles of breath on each side. And you can return to that abdominal bloating breath so your belly can balloon now, letting go of all your engagement there. And switching sides if you haven't already. And then just taking the next couple of minutes to rest peacefully. You can do that in seated meditation or rest back in Shavasana. And wriggle out any restlessness from your body so you can just settle into stillness. And invite your body and mind to integrate the benefits of your practice today. Scanning your body for any residual tension. And just letting your exhales carry any restraint away. Melting into the mat. And letting your eyes rest softly back into their sockets. And letting your lips and mouth and jaw relax. letting your whole body rest and let go. And then just gently, gently drifting your awareness back. Bring some movement to your body just to wake yourself up. Breathe a really nice big breath in. And if you are laying back there, bend the knees, feet to the floor, rolling out to your right side. Blinking the eyes open, and just dragging yourself all the way back up to sit. And I hope you've enjoyed this core strength Vinyasa class. Thanks so much for joining me. Namaste.